Women in World War I by Aiden, Jack, Michaela, and Cece. Women played a crucial role in the success the U.S. had in World War I. Their help in the military, as well as the home front, ultimately led to the creation of the 19th Amendment.
During World War I, American women were left behind in a country with few men to work and provide. There was a high demand for women on the home front and in the military, which opened many opportunities for women to take over male-dominated jobs. Women often found themselves working in factories, nursing, ambulance drivers, and in the worst situations, fighting in the war. Because millions of men were away at war, women were forced in leadership positions and ultimately helped aid the war effort.
Women like Mary Borden and Julia Hunt Catlin Toffliab were some important people during World War I. Mary Borden was awarded the France's Croix de Guerre for using her own money to establish a hospital on the Western Front and served as a nurse till the end of the war. Julia Hunt Catlin Toffliab was another woman who served as a nurse and helped create a hospital on the front line, and she was the first woman to be awarded the France's Croix de Guerre. Both of these women helped set the example to other women throughout the war and to women in all countries.
Did you know, in July 1914, before the war broke out, there were 3.2 million women in employment. This had risen to 5 million by January 1918. On July 28, 1914, 1 month to the day after Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife were killed by Siberian nationalists, Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia, effectively beginning the First World War.
With the outbreak of war in 1914, the Women's Social and Political Union called for a halt to activities and rallied behind the war effort.
On October 22, 1916, the women won a minimum wage battle for the first time in history. This was the beginning of women gaining equal rights in America.
Germany had formally surrendered on November 11, 1918, and all nations had agreed to stop fighting while the terms of peace were negotiated. On June 28, 1919, Germany and the Allied nations signed the Treaty of Versailles, formally ending the war.
On June 14, 1919, Congress passed the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote. The 19th Amendment guarantees all American women the right to vote. Achieving this milestone required a lengthy and difficult struggle. Victory took decades of agitation and protest.
Which amendment is shown in this picture? The 15th, the 13th, the 19th, or the 21st?
The first women police officers served during the First World War. One of the main responsibilities of the women's patrols was to maintain discipline and monitor behavior around factories and other places.
Our first topic was women in the military. Its impact in America and the world was the involvement of women in World War I, paved the way for the 19th Amendment to be put in place. Women filled roles that men took when war was not raging throughout the world and showed their independence and ability to be successful without men.
Women in the home front were very influential during the war. Working women were urged during this period to do men's work because the men were busy fighting, so the women spent time working in factories, doing work, including building weapons used in battle. This was the beginning of a new era for women. Because of women who stayed home during World War I, American soldiers were able to continue to receive supplies for war. Women were now able to work jobs that allowed them to gain better pay.
Beginning in the mid-1800s, many early supporters of the women's rights movement didn't even live to see the 19th Amendment passed. Women petitioned, protested, and organized in a long and harsh battle to accomplish their purpose. The involvement of the U.S. in World War I slowed the progress of the women's rights movement as many women filled roles usually occupied by men. The main effect of the passing of the 19th Amendment is women now hold very important positions in the nation, such as government representatives, judges, senators, military roles, and as huge influencers in the nation. Women played a huge role in World War I and still continue that same legacy today, not only economically, politically, and militarily, but they helped shape the world into what it is.